Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. I'm really thrilled that we have Rob Peters with us here. He is a small business advocate and also he runs his business and he is also helping others do that. He also wrote a book that he's going to tell us a little bit more about. But then also, I just want to share as well that this episode is sponsored by my coaching business, and we are focused on getting you in front of your ideal clients if you're entrepreneur or running a business. So, Rob, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Tony, thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm Rob Peters. I'm based in just south of Boston in the United States, a town called Foxborough. If you follow American football, the New England Patriots, they play 10 minutes from my house. And I've been in small business for about 38 years in a variety of different roles. Growing up, I worked in the family business. My parents ran gas stations. So I was doing gas station management for a long time. I then expanded and did an auto detailing business for a little bit. And then I went away to college and I began to run events as an entertainer, as a DJ. And after graduating and moving back to Boston, I actually opened a full-time, full-service entertainment agency that I've run for the majority of my career in doing special events and things like DJing weddings. But more recently, I have been taking my knowledge and trying to share that because a lot of the lessons I learned in my 38 years of doing this were not things that I learned about in college. They were things that I learned through going down the road of life, basically, and taking the lessons that I learned as a small business owner and wanting to share them with your audience and audiences all around the world is something I've become very passionate about.
Great. And what inspired you to start your current business?
It all happened by accident. Getting into the mobile entertainment business, I had just went away to college and I was a shy kid, kind of hard to believe. And the upperclassman I was paired up with taught me how to DJ. And I was doing radio and I was doing my classes, and I found a couple of things happened with the DJ as I was DJing events on campus. There were three things that were happening. First of all, I came out of my shell. I became a lot more extroverted. Secondly, I got paid pretty well for having fun and playing music and watching people dance. And being a college kid, the girls kind of like the DJ. So it was a pretty cool thing that happened. And it was nice to be able to do that through and put myself through college. When I moved back to Boston after graduating with my degree, I was dating somebody and they asked me to DJ an event for their family, and I did. Ironically, that relationship didn't work out. Within the following week, we had broken up, but I was DJing this event and everybody was dancing and having a great time. And people were coming up to me and asking me for my business card. And this was like 1992, to give you some timeline.
Hmm.
I didn't have business cards. I didn't know what business cards were. People on campus used to be able to find me and ask me if I would DJ for them. That's how I did it in college, but I didn't know anything about it. So I grabbed some cocktail napkins and a marker off the bar, and I wrote my phone number down and started handing it out to people. And the phone just started to ring. And that was really the beginning. Back then, it was part time. I was a part time DJ. I worked full time in the banking industry. So it was a juggling act, but it eventually wound up coming out to being a full time business that I ran for over 30 years.
Wow, inspiring. And then also, can you tell us, please, a little bit more about like who do you serve now and what do you do in your business?
So for my business, for the entertainment company, the majority of our business is corporate. So, for example, this past weekend, I was in northern New England, just about 5 minutes from the Canadian border, doing a corporate event for about 200 people. We do corporate game shows. So think about the game shows you see on television. We bring those to life for corporations all throughout New England. We also do bar and restaurant trivia. We help them become profitable by having our services in there every week and creating a repeat business with people who come in every week and want to play our trivia or our music bingo, which is basically name that tune instead of doing bingo the traditional way with balls and with letters and written on the balls that pop out of air. We play songs, and if it's on your bingo card, you mark it off. But that's the majority of the business. I'm now expanding with the book and being able to do a lot of this into doing some consulting and more speaking, really, because I'm finding that the things that are in my book that I've put out there don't just apply to the small business people. They apply to people who are opening a franchise for the first time. And it's a lot of common sense stuff that when you read it, it's that light bulb moment. It's like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that I might be missing the mark by not doing this.
Totally. And can you tell us a little bit more about your book?
So the Small Business CEO's Playbook was the result of some things that I deal with in my day job. I currently work for Scouting America, which is formerly known as the Boy Scouts of America. And I was out with some colleagues one night, and I'd written a book 20 years ago to teach mobile DJs the basics of running a business. Because back in the 90s, it was more of a side hustle kind of thing that a lot of people didn't take serious as a business. Was out with some scouting friends about 4 years ago, and I blurted out one night that I'd written a book, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but within 24 hours, one of my colleagues at Scouting America had bought the book and was having it shipped to their house. And as he read it, he began to tell me that a lot of this stuff is still applicable that I wrote 20 years ago. And I'm like, I don't know. And with a little bit more encouragement, I wound up sitting down and writing this book, but I didn't want to gear it towards a specific industry because I think it applies to just about any industry, whether you are in a for-profit situation, maybe you're starting your first business, or maybe you're buying a franchise, or even if you're a salesperson, a lot of this stuff really applies. But it also does apply in the nonprofit world. So I decided to expand it out, and I figured small business really needed a lot more attention. Here in the United States, we generally only celebrate small business on a national level. You only really hear about it the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is called Small Business Saturday, where American Express does a great job with this. They sponsor Small Business Saturday and basically get the word out that for the holidays, you should be shopping small. I think that's a great concept, but I don't think there's enough of it, which is why I wrote this book.
Wonderful. And what's one of the biggest sort of business tips you can give or share with small businesses and entrepreneurs?
Tony, that depends how long your podcast is. I could go on and on about this for hours. One of the big things that I think often gets overlooked are things like gratitude and goodwill, because those are things that realistically can cost a lot of small business owners small money and give big results. But we get wrapped up in, we have to do this much in sales, and we have to return these calls, and we have to do all this other stuff. I think one of the big things you can learn as a small business owner is how to show that you're a nice guy and give gratitude. And when I say give gratitude, it's as simple as sitting down and writing a hand note to a client that just spent money with you and saying, I really enjoyed you doing your event. Thank you so much. I hope you'll keep me in mind for the future. And
Wow.
then the goodwill part of that, you can't put a price on future goodwill. I used to work for my parents' gas station, and for a while, I actually was able to work alongside a lot of the marketing representatives for ExxonMobil. And again, this was way back in the 1980s. And one of the things I learned was it was a small gesture of doing goodwill. It was encouraging my dad to do a free giveaway of something that wasn't going to cost him a lot of money during a grand opening that would yield good results. And it was basically giving out a $2 off coupon on oil changes to everybody who came in. And I remember my dad was like, I don't know. We just put all this money into the business. And the marketing rep looked right at my dad, looked right at me and said, you cannot put a price on future goodwill. And it was like that light bulb moment. I'm like, you don't have to go broke doing it, but $2, I can't even begin to tell you how many of those coupons back in the 80s we redeemed after the grand opening because we handed them out to people. And it's little gestures like that. And it doesn't have to be something that serves you. For example, one of the things we do around the holidays when we're out in the bar business is we actually do a food drive for the local food pantry. And we do a gift drive that helps kids that are in foster care. And we collect gifts, but we also do get prizes and we do raffles to raise money. And then my team and I, we go out on a Saturday, we get up early, we go meet at the local Walmart here in the States, and we actually go in and we go shopping and we buy Christmas gifts for kids that are in foster care that might not have a Christmas or might not get a gift that means something to them. And we publicize it. We put it up on social media and show off because we actually have fun with it. Like I take the whole crew to breakfast, we have breakfast, and then we go crazy. We all grab shopping carts and we all have lists, and we just go to town on trying to make a difference in somebody else's world. And these are people that probably aren't going to book our services, right? But these are people who need us, and we're able to provide that for them. And I think that shows that we're a caring business in the community, and that might equate to some dollars here and there, but it's a better feeling inside when you do it. So that's the other reason why we do it is, to be able to give back.
Wonderful. Rob, thank you so much for sharing this great knowledge in your story. And then if someone wants to actually get in touch with you or connect to you, how they can do that?
Real easy. They can go onto the internet. I have a website, robpeters.biz, B-I-Z. There's information about the book. There's information about the other stuff we do. And there's also a cool contact form that says, keep in touch with Rob. You can check that off, and I'll be happy to help with whatever I can do.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to share this link as well in the description of this episode. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like. And also subscribe and share it with your friends and family. All the best. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.